Hey, welcome back. Together, Connect, Create, the podcast about doing just that in community with our people, wherever we find ourselves. My name is Megan Schultz, and today I am keeping this episode short and sweet as a way to share just a little moment of connection that I had with my daughter. If you are listening to this episode live on the day it drops, congratulations. That must mean you are not frantically busy running around like a chicken with your head cut off. Happy Christmas Eve if you celebrate. If you don't, happy holiday, happy solstice, happy Kwanzaa, happy belated Hanukkah, all the things. I thought long and hard about what episode I want to put out this week. And I have a few in the wings, but I don't want them to get lost in the holiday shuffle because I have been interviewing some incredible women. And my fear is that if I release an interview today, people may not listen because they're caught up in all the things, which makes total sense. But instead of skipping a week and taking a week off, I just wanted to tell you about a little story that I read to my daughter and that we had a lovely conversation about. The book is called Ordinary Mary's Extraordinary Deed, and it's a picture book by Emily Pearson, illustrations by Fumi Kosaka. And for the sake of copyright and all the things, I did a quick Google search. I don't think I'm allowed to read the whole book online, sadly. Otherwise, I probably would take 10 minutes to read this book because it's short and sweet. It's a little kid's book, picture book. But I don't know. I think the powers that be say you can't do that. So I'm just going to have to recap what happens. Basically, there's a little girl named Mary. She's a very ordinary little girl. And I'll just read you the first page so you get the gist of just how ordinary she is. It says, Ordinary Mary was so very ordinary that you'd never guess that she'd change the world. This ordinary kid? She did. She changed the world. And it goes on to tell you how Mary did that. And basically, one day she was walking home from school. She sees this beautiful blueberry patch in a vacant lot. And she decides they look so good that she's going to pick some. And so she picks some and she drops them off on this woman's porch, Mrs. Bishop. And Mrs. Bishop was so happy to have gotten those berries that she thought right away of 5 people that she could do something nice for. So she made a big old batch of blueberry muffins and passed those blueberry muffins on to 5 different people. And one of those people was her paper boy, where she left a plate with his name on it and some of these blueberry muffins that she made and secretly left that out for him. And he was so happy to have gotten that treat that he decided that he had to do 5 nice things for 5 other people. And so he decides that instead of just chucking his paper up and letting it land where it does, in the bushes oftentimes, he would actually hand deliver the papers on his next route. And one of the people that he hand delivered his paper to was Mr. Maury, who was for some reason getting on an airplane, and one of those people on his flight happened to be Mario, who had a cranky little baby on his lap, and we've all sat next to one of those on the airplane, haven't we? But Mr. Maury, because he was so happy, decided to play peekaboo with this little guy. And it made the ride so much smoother for Mario. Are you getting the gist of where this story is going? So it goes on and on and on, talking about how the 5 people decided to help 5 more people. And then those 5 people decided to do nice things for the next 5 people. There are balloons given to a little boy at a hospital. There is somebody who stops to help pick up a broken bag of groceries. There's a big brother who decides to actually be nice to his little sister and take her to the park to ride a skateboard and teach her how to ride a skateboard. There's a homeless woman at the park who gets a hot dog bought for her, and so on and so on and so on. And I think you understand where this is going. But what's cool is at the end of this book, you have to turn the book vertical and you see the exponential multiplication of this work that started with Ordinary Mary leaving some blueberries on Mrs. Bishop's porch, and you see that very quickly it goes from 1 to 5 to 25 to 125 to 625, and you see this multiplication problem going down the page until you get to a number that I don't know if I can even read. It's over 30 billion. And it only took 16 days for it to multiply. 16 days to go from 1 to greater than 30 billion. And we know there are only, 7 billion, 8 billion by now people on this planet. So over 30 billion, a lot of love left over. And basically this little girl, Ordinary Mary, changed the world with her extraordinary deed. My 8-year-old and I had a wonderful conversation about this and about how what we put out into the world ripples. And how most of the time we don't see what happens after we put a good deed out into the world. We don't get to see the impact of 5 people down the line. We might get a thank you from the person that we've done something kind for, but the people that they then do things for and they then do things for, that is the beauty of being kind just for the sake of being kind. So in this holiday season, as we hustle and bustle around, tying up last-minute gifts, literally at the last minute, I hope that you are able to find time for kindness. And if you find that you are the recipient of some kindness, what will you do to pass it on to keep that ripple spreading across the planet? Because what could happen? 16 days later, we could really change the world. In these times where it feels like we are small and insignificant and can't make a difference in the bigger scheme of things, maybe that's not true. Maybe this is the year that we challenge that by putting out as much goodness into the world as we can. All right. Next week, listeners, I am very excited to introduce you to a friend of mine who has been, a guiding light for me for the last almost 2 decades. I think I've been following her work, and only in the last couple years have we met in person and become friends. And I'm so excited to introduce you to Andrea Scher. She is in the Bay Area. She is an artist, a photographer, a creative, a jewelry maker, a painter. I can't even begin to list all of the things she is, because she is multi-passionate, multi-creative, all the things, multi-inspirational. And I'm talking about her today, even though her episode won't be out until next week, because she is offering a class on the very day that the episode comes out. So Wednesday, December 31st, if you're listening in real time, she will be having a Zoom gathering from, it's 9 to 11 Pacific time. So if you are listening in the Midwest, in Milwaukee here, it's 11 to 1, or wherever you are, convert your time zone accordingly. But she'll be offering a class called Manifesting 2026, a New Year's Visioning Workshop and Mini Course. And of course, we'll talk about that in the episode, but by the time it comes out, unless you grab your spot quickly, it might be too late. So I wanted to give you a heads up. I will put a link in the show notes of how to jump on board. It's a live Zoom session, but it will be recorded. So if you can't make it live, you can still go through it later, and you'll also have access to the mini course, which is a self-guided version. So if joining a live call isn't of interest, but you want some of the magic that Andrea brings, which, oh my goodness, when you hear this interview, you will see, hop on to her website and sign up for that. I will be there for sure, as will, I know, many of my friends now who also love what Andrea puts into the world. So I'm excited to introduce you to her next week in the episode, but jump on to her end of year visioning and start to dream big for 2026. What do you want to happen next year? What would you like to call into your life? It is 2 hours well worth spending on yourself for the new year. All right, like I said, I'll be back next week with Andrea, so look forward to that. And I am grateful for you, that you are here sending out your ripples into the world with your extraordinary deeds. Thanks, friends.